It's giving automatic filter, automatic smoothing.
It's giving Snapchat filter.
It's giving Well, I don't know what I was telling you. No, I am more in Zoom filter, not Snapchat filter.
What, where you've got the background?
Oh, I see what you mean by Snapchat filter with the eyelashes and the lipstick and everything. I don't do those.
The drag queen ones, we call them use them.
I don't, but every time I think of that, I think about that one really famous Zoom meeting with the guy in the council meeting with the cat face.
Oh,
Do you remember? Old school, right at the beginning of lockdown. Nice. And it was on the news and it went viral. And that's my favourite filter.
Well, no filters today, unfortunately. But, all right, shall we?
Should I put headphones on?
Yeah, well, it's nice to eat.
Are they actually attached? Yes.
You like me? You like to hear the sound of your own
voice?
I
do, but I've only got it in one ear.
There we go.
There we are in the second. I do like to have it in both ears.
Welcome to the club, Paulette. Yes. Welcome to Gaydio again.
Thank you very much.
Home sweet home. I hope it feels like coming home sometimes.
Absolutely, always. Yeah. Always. I get the red carpet laid out. I've got my green tea. I've got my dog love as I walk in, just...
There's usually some form of furry animal to greet you at Gaydio.
Total, definite companionship as soon as I walk in.
Welcome to the club, life and lessons of a black woman DJ.
And there are many.
And well, it does sound about it. How many pages?
258.
258. We'll take that. Give or take.
I think around that.
Yeah.
70,000 words.
70. Wow. Okay. And how long does this take you to write? When did you start this? Because this is a life's work, isn't it? We're talking about your life. When does it? Is it just about your DJ career, or are we going to go right back to the beginning?
No, we don't go right back to the beginning because let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Not really. Just thought get the musical reference, and you knew that, didn't you?
Of course.
Bit of Sound of Music.
Brought up on the Sound of Music, Julie Andrews. I do think I became a raving homosexual, Paulette.
Same. You can't beat a bit of Julie Andrews, can you? Yes. So I didn't start right at the beginning of life because I wanted it to be a bit more concentrated, and I wanted to tell a story that was really present. And, who wants to hear this? I mean, maybe somebody would want to hear the story of me and my twin on stage when we were 3 years old, singing Daisy Daisy, and that was the start of everything. But I mean, I just wanted it to have more impact in the now. So it starts really from the start of my DJing career. It goes back a few years, maybe about 3 or 4 years before the start of my DJing career, but very, very quickly. And
you've been DJing for about 30 years or more?
Years, yeah.
Is that 30 years this year? Or?
Yeah, it was actually 30 years in 22.
Wow.
So
what incredible amount of time.
It's quite somewhat more, and no gold watch and no benefits and no pension and, not even a Zimmer frame, for free.
No gold watch, but golden tunes though. At least you've got a collection of them.
Always golden tunes. And that this is the point of it really, is to put down some kind of history and account of the evolution of dance music through the evolution of my career. So, also when I started DJing, I was playing vinyl, and now it's CDJs and internet, and we've just seen massive leaps and bounds, changes in the actual motion. The doing of DJing.
Yeah, the function in it.
The function has become totally different. You DJ yourself, and you know how it's changed from being, You know, we used to be able to put a flyer out for a party and it would be word of mouth, and everybody would come and nobody would take pictures and nobody would upload it to Mixcloud or Instagram, and everybody would have a great time. You know, there were no phones on the dance floor, whereas now you've got tens of thousands of people, 80,000 people per dance floor at Coachella, everybody with their cameras up, just the most ridiculous crowds, all on the internet.
Yeah.
All, and it was just really important for me to show that change.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like sometimes when we hear stories from DJs or people, from clubbing culture, you hear the stories of what it used to be like and it was so great then, I feel like for someone like me listening who straddled that change as a millennial, I got to enjoy the best of no phones on the dance floor, finding out about a club night through a flyer or word of mouth or something like that, and seeing that change. It's been gradual. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like some sort of dinosaur who goes, it's never going to be like it used to be. Things change,
change,
and there's good things about today.
Exactly.
But also there were good things about before as well.
Exactly. And and some of the good things that came before haven't been documented. So it is nice also to tell those stories. So it tells a very female focused story as well for a lot of the book, because it's my experience. So it's actually never been done before.
Interesting. So a female DJ hasn't written this book?
No, I am the first Black female DJ to write any account of the electronic music industry, which is like a massive first. And also, how
does that feel? Can I just ask you? You must feel proud.
I am super, super proud of it, because in a way, I set out to change history. And I say that because I wanted to put people's names there that had been forgotten or overlooked or sidelined. And I wanted to talk about clubs and countries and cultures that maybe people didn't know about. And I also wanted to talk about a very recent event, which is the pandemic, and how that had affected the culture. And that has never been documented from this side of the dance floor. In fact, from any side of the dance floor, those books haven't really been, they've not been written yet. So
everyone's just so excited to get back and get back into it, get back on the dance floor, get back in the booth.
Yeah, but just also to remind people that it happened, and this is how we came through it. These were the challenges that we faced, and this is how we came through it. And it's very much a celebration of Manchester, because the way we came through the pandemic was just phenomenal. Sacha Lord, Andy Burnham setting up United We Stream. That streaming kept people going all the way through the lockdown. And the streams, May Bank Holiday, Hacienda Stream had 5 million hits. So it's just like it talks about that, when everything seemed like it was going to turn to rubble, what we rescued and kind of nurtured again and rebuilt was an industry that the government was about to say was about to really call time on, and everybody really fought to keep it going. It's like Gaydio fought to keep the station going, and the list, all the people that were listening, the engaged, and it's really a testament to that as well, how we came through it. Because should it happen again, somebody can look at the book and say, it's the people who keep things going. We'll get through it. It's the people that keep it going, but there's a way through, and not to feel like, what's happening? Because we felt, what's happening, because it's never happened before.
Not like that.
So it's important to talk about those things that haven't been, have those kind of uncomfortable discussions that, just the same as feminism and gender parity and wages, which also comes into a really big paragraph, just to have those conversations in the book. And I think I've done it well because people seem to like it.
How does it feel? Because obviously in the book you'll deal with, start of your, or the early part of your career.
Yeah, that's the funny bit. That's the light bit. I do this thing where I'm kind of teasing you into the world in a very light and jolly way, and then someone said it's like really, really light and really, really jolly, and then she just punches you with a.
Well, I was going to ask you this really nice question about how it felt about, starting off, in a hacienda and being part of those days with Flesh and, and then, going to the pandemic and, having that hacienda stream reach over 5 million people. But I really want to ask you about what's that moment that I've read about where you've got your head in your hands because you've been partying too much. There's this bit in the book, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and that's at the beginning because I wanted to also have the human side of it and explain why I do things a certain way now, and I didn't do things that way when I was younger.
We've all been there, Paulette.
Yeah,
come on, tell us.
Well, in this way, you haven't got a twin, mate.
I have. I've got a twin sister.
Oh, yeah, you have.
Not identical, though, but I have got a twin sister.
Yeah, you have got a twin, but I've got an identical twin. So I got absolutely hammered on one night, and it was just, it was the night where it was the first night back after I'd taken some time off to do my finals, and I had the end of series for Juice at Granada. So I'd stopped DJing for a couple of months. So it was only 2 days, but I'd stopped DJing for a couple of months just so I could concentrate on revision and end of show and all of this. So it was the first night back, and it was supposed to be the liberation celebration, and we got absolutely hammered before we'd even got to the club.
Where was this? And
it was at home on Juicy House.
Oh, get out.
So the old home on Juicy Street.
Yeah.
And I had the second room there, and someone else, I think it was probably Dave Kendrick, was playing in the first room. And, everything was going fine,
I am obsessed with this. Honest to goodness.
My twin actually covered for me, and because of that,
she didn't do a great job.
No, she didn't. and it's a bit like that time when somebody tried to teach me how to ride a bike at rush hour in Paris, never to be done again.
Yeah.
So she's never DJ'd again, and she says she probably never will, because that was like, but the thing is, this is how me and my twin are so very different, because I learned how to DJ on the job. I didn't have any equipment. I had the records, and I knew what I wanted to do. Yeah. And I was not at all fazed about how do I use this? How do I put this together?
I think it's when you're a party starter.
I just did it because I loved it, and I wanted to figure out how it all worked, and whether that was in front of people that I'd never met before or didn't know, I couldn't have cared less. I was having a party, playing music for people that were dancing to what I was playing. I mean, you can't get better than that. That's just the best exchange. But my twin is just like, no, never again, and never asked me to do it again. But we have done a few little tricks like that on the twin side, and they are also in the book. So at work.
You know what I was going to add, but you know what? We've got to sell this book, and it sells itself by the sounds of it. You've just got to go and buy if you want to hear any more stories about that. I did want to ask something. I was talking about you to a friend the other day, because somebody asked me, they said, who do you know who's a DJ who isn't just isn't as a producer as well, out there? Yeah. And you instantly came to mind. Yeah. You're so well known, and you've built up this career, a cracking career by all accounts, by anyone's standards. How do you feel about being, an in-demand DJ
but without any productions. Well,
We do have productions.
I do have
You do.
a few. I do have a few.
We've all
but I
dabbled.
haven't-
We all
yeah,
dabble,
I've
Paulette. It's
dabbled.
all
I
right.
dabbled,
Don't worry.
you
It's
know,
not to be ashamed about.
Can I come out?
She's a dabbler.
I'm a dabbler.
She's a dabbler,
and I am
folks. She's
going
not
to
a
dabble
DJ
again.
at all.
I am going to dabble again because there is something that I'm discussing in the pipeline. So it's just not that natural everyday thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas writing is something that I do literally something. I write something every day.
Yeah.
Just because I heard the other day that writers are life vampires.
Say that again. I didn't get that.
Writers are life vampires.
Life vampires.
Because
Okay, so, right, go on, yeah.
we observe, we listen, and then we write everything down. So be careful what you say around me. I had to say to my friend Gary the other day, by the way, there are 3 things you've said to me in the last 6 months that I know are going to definitely end up in a book. And he said, what's that then? And I told him the 3 phrases. He has a really funny way of putting things. And I'm like, I'm going to write you into a book. So just be prepared to like or not like the person that I put those words into the mouth of. So it's just that's what we do. It's like, that's my creativity. It's like absorbing all lots of different energies, environments, and all of it, sounds, tastes. And that's one of the things that people said about the book, is that they could hear or they could see or they could feel exactly what I was trying to communicate. And that is very much what I do. I'm not necessarily natural to production like that. I need to work with someone in the studio as well, because I've got like technical abilities are...
You can get see Paulette's just doing a little shifty side-eye look there, like, hello.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Paulette, I'll put it out there. I'm getting back in the studio this year.
Yeah, I am.
Come with me.
Oh, well, why don't we?
Yeah, I'm
why
down.
Why don't we? Happily do that.
Yeah.
Happily do that. Because I do need that kind of push as well, but do be prepared, because I don't know whether I'm a bit like, I just like... my concentration level in the studio is really limited, and I just can't listen to beats for hours.
Yeah.
It just
When I've worked with people in the past who just want to sit there for like 4 hours straight, and I'm like, I have to get up and go somewhere. I can't do this. I will come back to it. And they get frustrated because like, you don't want to do it. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I do, but
I just can't listen to beats for 4 hours. It's just like one beat. Click, 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 click. Oh no, not that sound. Doof, 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 doof. Not that sound. Ding, 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 ding. Not that sound.
Slightly different top end on a kick
Not
or
that.
something
It's just
like that.
honest to God, just put a kick on there. Like, I don't mind. Like,
If you could, let's get back to this book. So if you could summarize, go on, sorry.
But it has been, you know, as good or, you know, high profile as the career is, it is a sticking point. And one of the things that I really wish didn't exist is that status of every DJ has to be a producer, because honestly, it's not possible. It's like saying every doctor has to be a surgeon in order to qualify, or every artist has to be, you know, fine artist or a Turner Prize winner. It's not possible. You can have lots of different levels and lots of different types. If we don't have lots of different types of DJs, performers, you know, why don't they say everybody has to sing like Taylor Swift, or everybody has to sing like Beyonce? Or, you know, you can't say that. There has to be room for lots of different types of people, every kind of people, as Robert Palmer said.
There you go. You really do have a writer's brain, don't you?
Lyrical.
I do. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think it's a bad thing that the worlds have merged. You know, like in days gone by, you just have the producers who then were like, "Oh, I'm getting booked for DJ gigs. I better learn."
Yeah.
You know, and then the other way around.
Yeah.
You'd have record companies saying, "You got any tunes?" Well, I just DJ. You know, sort of thing. So I don't think it's bad, but I do really feel that someone like you is a great sort of beacon to other people who are worried about feeling that pressure, about having to fit into a box that they might not naturally want to go into.
Absolutely that. And I say, just crack on and do what is natural to you. Don't try and be that thing that people tell you you should be, because one, you won't be happy. Two, probably what you make isn't going to be that great. It might not be a hit anyway, because the amount of people that make a hit are like minimal. Lots of people are throwing out lots of average tunes just to get work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw out average tunes. Don't be average. Be yourself. Be brilliant. Whatever you bring to the table. And that's what I'm kind of really pushing for is, you know, not everyone can be that thing, but everyone can be something. So whatever that something is to you, be it, push it, take it large and make it count.
Feel free to disagree, but would you say that you have maybe had help to develop that outlook on life because of your sexuality and, you know, your sort of struggle that we've all had as LGBTQ people?
Absolutely that. But, you know, what saddens me really is that it has taken a long time for me to be comfortable in the outness of being bisexual. I've hidden behind it, hidden it for a long time. And I think that's really complicated my relationships. And it's really complicated the way I've worked and places I've worked and places I've not worked, because those two things, it just didn't gel with me for a long time. And you know, what really interests me is it's really, ever since I came back to Manchester in 2015 and I started to make a point of talking about it openly, because I'm still, you know, even in 2023, I still meet conversations with gay and straight people who will say to my face that bisexuality doesn't exist, or that I'm not part of this community because bi doesn't count. And it's like, you know, we have actually all got to understand each other, otherwise none of it counts.
They want to calm down, to be honest with you. It's just like, what's so stressing you out? You've got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, but, you know, that's what's made it hard, is that, you know, I know it's real because I know what my preferences are. I know who my partners have been. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I don't have to prove it to anybody, but I know naturally, you know, it can go either way depending on whether I like the person or not.
Yeah.
Or whether I feel that kind of really beautiful energy between two people. It can go either way for me. But also it means that it can go no way as well, because, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing about being picky.
So I'm gay and it still usually goes nowhere.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. If you have an ounce of discernment in your body...
We are discerning. We have discerning tastes, Paulette.
Discerning. It means that you don't just jump on everything because you buy. It means you take nothing.
There you go. That's one story of bisexuality there.
Yes. Come at me. I will prove it.
She's on the socials. She's on the apps for 2024. She's very busy. She's very
really
busy though.
Really limited.
You are one of the busiest people that I know though, Paulette. So God knows when you'll be able to find time to finish it up.
That's why there's nobody.
We'll get in the studio first, then we'll talk about dating.
That is the plan for 24. That is the first plan after the promo for the book kind of calms down.
Yeah.
Is music is next.
Stunning. Just finally to finish off,
And it's never too late.
It is never
You're not
too late.
finishing, by the way. I'm staying here
All right.
forever and
Okay.
ever
Well,
and
you-
ever,
you
ever,
need
forever, ever.
You need another brew?
Yes, please.
Pop and count as
Forever,
well.
ever. There's another song.
Do you do that as well, actually? You know, if somebody says a little word and then a song will pop instantly into
Yeah.
your head and then you
Yeah.
have to try and ignore it, but then
Yeah.
also entertain
Oh,
it.
I can never ignore anything. I have got, and I think, I don't know whether this makes me weird, but I remember being in a studio with Harry Connick Jr. There's a story.
Now, what do you mean by there's the story?
Well, no, I mean, I was in a radio studio. I did an interview with, I can't remember the guy's name now. He's the Reverend, was one half of the Communards. He had a radio show.
Oh,
on 2. Brain fog.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was his show. Harry Connick Jr. was on the show, and we got talking about music. And he is like this prodigy, musical prodigy.
I remember being
and
brought up
he
on him.
said that he has music in his head every minute of the day. And I said, that's weird, because so do I.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up with music playing in my head all day. This is why I don't have music on in the house.
Yeah.
Because it's already playing in my head. I've got like a playlist of whatever tune wants to come at me from my brain is playing in between my ears. I've always got music.
I feel like some people don't get that. It's you can hear it. You can hear it as clear as day.
Every note.
Yeah, and you can replay it as many times as you want. We've had Spotify for years before it was even a thing.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. You know, music for me is the driving force for everything. And even though I don't necessarily make it, I used to sing as well. So maybe that's part of it. And I've been taught to play musical instruments. So maybe that's part of it as well. I used to play the violin, the piano, struggled with the saxophone. You know, I've actually been through that, and I was a singer as well, and I've gigged and done all that. So that's probably before I became a DJ. I was a singer.
Were you in a group or?
I was in a group.
Oh, please! What was the group name?
Oh, it was terrible. Bernie Hot. But we did some quite good gigs. We supported Curtis Mayfield.
Bernie Hot.
Bernie Hot. Watch me.
Cracking. Let's bring back Bernie Hot.
Yeah, because we really weren't.
Bernie Hot coming to
we
a
did some
theatre
good
near
gigs.
you.
We supported Curtis Mayfield one time, and we also supported Deacon Blue at the International 1 and 2 in Manchester.
Wow.
So we had some really good gigs.
Mm-hmm.
But and we were loads of us. We did like covers of Stevie Wonder tracks and like had some original music as well. And then I left that band and did lots of backing vocals for other people and wrote songs for other people in studios for years before I became a DJ.
Yeah. So you're no stranger to it. So when you get back into this music, it's going to be.
I drive my neighbours mad because I still think I can sing and I can't.
You're not driving a mad, you're not doing
Yowling.
it right. That's what I was going to say. That's what autune's for, but that's
yowling.
We'll see
so
how we
if
get
you
on.
hear yowling anywhere near Heaton Park, North Manchester wise, you can guarantee.
You're like, don't worry, it's not the cat. Nobody's getting murdered.
Door.
It's just Paulette. She's got a new album coming out. Paulette, I just need to do one more question because I'm going to have to, because I know we could talk for hours.
Yes, we could.
We literally could. We do this every time, don't we?
Absolutely. And we never talk about what we really...
I feel like we've got this. I'm going to be like standard interview and I'm going to bring it back to the book.
Yes.
With one more question. If you could pick 3 words to sum up this book, to really, to get somebody to say, look, you need to read this book. What's it going to be?
First, because it's the first time a book about the electronic dance music industry has been written by a black woman DJ. It's the first time that the history has been told from a female perspective. So I bring a lot of women's histories to light. It's the first time it's talked about the pandemic. It's the first time, anything has been discussed north of Watford as well. So it's a real it's got a real Manchester theme running through it, a real female theme running through it, but it is very international. So first is one word, funny, because I've got away with words.
Yes, I was crying with laughter with that story of you with your head in your hands in the toilet.
I do tell a good story. I do tell a good story. And I would hope...
I'm still laughing about it. It's the image of you in that toilet. Oh, go on.
There are a few more stories like that. And I would say, yeah... Is it life-changing? Is life-changing one word, or game-changing?
Game-changing. Okay, so we had first...
Funny,
game-changing. It's a first game-changer. It's a first funny game-changer.
Yes.
All right, okay, we got it.
And it's my first book as well, so... and I'm going to write more.
I just love that
I've got loads of ideas in my head.
You've just gone straight in with all the tea, and we just know that there's much more, right?
Yeah, I've never written a book before, by the way, believe it or not. So this is my first attempt at writing a book.
And it's not ghostwritten either.
No, I've written every single word, everything, the structure of it, the shape of it, the words of it, the tone of it, everything has been written by me, and hopefully if there is ever an audible version of it.
I was going to say, have you read it? I thought you were going to record it.
We're supposed to, but I don't think the publisher's got enough money.
Really? Why don't you do it here?
Well, I've asked them if they're not going to do it, can I do it? And I'm waiting for the decision, so... I might take you up on that. We could serialize it.
Yeah, you could. Well, they do it on Spotify's now. So, who is it? Tony's, DJ Fat Tony's book's on there, and he's read it himself as well.
Right.
And it comes in, and the chapters are each an episode.
Well, it's
a thought.
That's a very good thought. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't know where your inspiration comes from, but there is like so much more mileage. And this is the thing. I thought, I don't know whether you've heard me dinging, but I'm supposed to be really like technically savvy, and I was showing off when I came in the studio going, you do it like this. And it's
Paulette
not.
was showing me how to fix my Apple Watch. She is better than me. I couldn't figure out why it's not working. You're not updating it, Dave. Come on.
I know, but I've still not done that thing right. So don't listen to me. Don't ever listen to me. But the book has got loads of good advice from loads of really sound people who happen to be like at the top of their game.
Yeah.
So Giles, Norman J. Lacuti, Colin Cosmo Murphy, Jaguar, Jam Supernova, lots of people like that.
Sorry, that was all the names dropping.
Clanging. Yes, did you hear that?
Clang. Dodging. Paulette, I honestly can't wait for this book to come out. I'm going to be hooked to it.
Yes.
I am over the moon for you that it's yours, and it's something that you want to share with everybody.
Yeah.
Something so deep and personal.
Yeah.
Like
and lots of it is. Lots of it really is as well, because it doesn't just show the highs, it shows the mistakes. It talks about the mistakes I made, how to do things differently, what not to do when all the equipment breaks down, what not to do if you take cocaine all night in the closed room. And things like that.
and other such tales. Tune in.
And how to get through a pandemic. It talks about the good, the bad, and the ugly, but in a very honest way. And when I finished the book, I was a little bit scared, because I thought, do I really want to put all of those stories, or all of me, like that out there. But then I thought, if it helps one person not make that mistake, or if it directs somebody to another person that they would have never have thought of talking to or hitting up on social media, then yeah, absolutely. I do want to share those stories because I want to change the world. I just want to make DJing for somebody coming along that is like me, that is like I was in 1992. I want that person to think, there is somebody who can help me here, because I never had any help and I never had any push and I've never had any management. So when people ask, why is it taking you so long? Now they know.
Yeah. And we respect that.
Yeah.
I'll come back on that with what you said about changing the world, because I feel like, especially nowadays, maybe, I don't know, it might have been the same, but I do feel like it's more prevalent nowadays that people are always wanting to look at making their mark on the world and being somebody and changing the world and all that sort of thing. You know, especially with the advent of social media, TikTok, it's also boom, 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 boom. What am I going to do today? How am I going to, you know, impact somebody's life today? And when you say change the world, you know, people might feel sad that they haven't, you know, become, you know, a super famous person or something, but you don't change the world like that. You change the world.
That's exactly the point I'm making, because
Exactly.
I'm not that kind of celebrity, uber mega celebrity who's flying on G7s and has, you know, wads of cash out of their pocket and is wearing all the designer labels. The point I am making, and thank you DJ Magazine for quoting me saying that I'm quite boring, really. But that actually really hurt. Like, did I say that? I'm sure I didn't sound
Is
boring.
that my stories are wilder than yours?
But the point of it really is to say that everybody everywhere is doing something, no matter how small, that changes the culture, that changes the environment which they live in.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those stories are important. All of our input is important. And you don't have to tell the story of, oh, I'm so famous, because the story of, I did work and it made this difference, and I employed that person who then went on to be, or maybe they didn't.
Or I showed somebody how to do this, or they taught me how to do that.
And what you learn.
Yeah.
Those things are equally as relevant and important. And that's the point I'm making, is that you can write a book about the culture without being like this huge personality.
Yeah.
Everybody has a story to tell, and all of those stories are relevant. And that's the point. That is really the big point, the foundation point, and the jump off from.
You can be as influential as Beyonce just without all the media and paparazzi. Who wants it?
Yeah, you know, and you'd be surprised of the people who made a difference in their own way, in their own small or big way. It doesn't have to be a huge, enormous gesture, but you can make a tiny little change, or, you know, you can make one track one day and it works, or someone listens to it, or you can write a column in a magazine, or you can just be, you know, a black girl behind the decks. Just be that thing and make your own difference and make your own way, tread your own path. And it doesn't have to be the huge story. That story is equally as important.
I think that's it.
Politician.
Paulette for PM. What a fantastic place to leave that. Beautiful. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
Can't wait for our next podcast, you know.
You know, you can always have me back. I've always got something to say.
Thanks.
I might nick the mug though.
You're welcome. It's fine.